this area, there's not a lot of tourists, and some places which is considered a bit dangerous or very isolated. So you actually are forced to go through all these areas to get to wherever you want to go. So it makes me appreciate every destination even more. And so this is Malaysia, the first country. Okay, even though I was traveling solo, I was hardly alone. I'm always like meeting bikers and making friends everywhere I go. I think when you're traveling solo, it's easier to make friends. And this is in Thailand. I had to overhaul my scooter. I left Singapore a total mechanical idiot, but I think experience is the best teacher. So I picked up mechanical skills along the way. And then I went through Myanmar, Northeast India. Okay, I went to Nepal, and then back to mainland India again. And then I went through Pakistan, and then finally here at the border of Iran. Okay, so this is the route that I traveled throughout Iran. So from all the way, I came into from the Pakistan border, went through the Sistan Plain, which is consists of part of Afghanistan and Pakistan, go down all the way to the south to the Persian Gulf, and then right all the way up north to the Caspian Sea, and then I left Iran into the Caucasus region, into Armenia. And as you can see, Iran, maybe the impression of Iran is that, oh, it's a desert and there's going to be desert city, it's very dry. But I don't think that's true. Actually, Iran has a lot of diverse landscape to offer. Okay, so this is in Yas, one of the desert city. And then down to the south, there's also lots of interesting islands in the Persian Gulf. And this is a Homos Island, where the soil consists of different color, white, green, red. So I managed to, I cycled over there. Yeah, and then also you're able to watch turtle lay eggs in the right season as well, okay, in the Persian Gulf. So from the islands up to the bustling city of Tehran. Okay, and then there's also, if you go further up north, there's the lush green mountains. And Iran, I would say that it has lots of history. Okay, I'm just going to backtrack, okay, to how old things can get in Iran. So, okay, this is the Azadi Tower built in 1971 to celebrate the 2,500 years of the Persian Empire. Okay, and then this Nashid Jahan Square that's built in the 16th century. And then over here, you see, this looks like a mosque, okay, looking at the dome. But actually, this is not a mosque. It is an Armenian church in Esfahan, which is built in the 17th century. So yes, majority of the people in Iran, they are Persians, but there's also other minorities, Armenian, Georgians, Azeris, Baloch. So there are many different other ethnic groups and also religion in Iran as well. And also get to appreciate the Islamic geometry in all this intricately designed mosque. This is one that is built in Yas on the 14th century. And then going further back in time, okay, this is Ak Ibam. It is an oasis that's situated at the crossroad of the Silk trade routes. So it goes back to like 500, 300 BC. That's how old this place is. And then there's also the Sky Barrier Tower that dates back to 3,000 years ago. So this structure are known as Dagma, or known as the Tower of Silence. So this tower is used by the Zoroastrian, okay, for Sky Barrier. So they will put the deceased on the top there, so that the bird of prey will feast on the bodies. And actually this tower, they was still in use until the 1970s. At that time it was banned. And then even going further back down, now we are going back to 5,000 years ago. Okay, this place is near the Sistan Plains, the area between Afghanistan and Pakistan. So this is one of the earliest urban settlement that was ever excavated. So there were unbelievable evidence of technological advance that were unearthed over there. Some of the example of the things that they found there were like skull with evidence of brain surgery. They also found an artificial eyeball on one of the bodies. Okay, it dates back to 2900 BC. And even there was an oldest animation was found. So there was some animation that was carved onto a pottery. So when you spin, okay, it looks like the characters on the pot, they are moving. So this settlement appeared around 3200 BC during the Bronze Age. And yeah, so this city was actually burned down quite a few times before it was abandoned in 1800 BC. So in that area, there was like almost 900 Bronze Age sites being documented in the Sistan Plain. Okay, and then how about the people? Yes, just now I mentioned that there are lots of ethnic groups in Iran as well. Okay, so like from the Baluchi in the southeast, the Azeri in the northwest, the Kurdish, trying to get me to stop. And when I finally stopped, he came over to pass me a bag of sunflower seeds. Okay, so Iranian loves to feed their guests. And so this is a problem for me because I'm riding a scooter, I have limited luggage space. So sometimes in one day I can get all this food from strangers. So these are sweets and food from 3 different people. And I have trouble fitting everything in. And also Iranians, they are masters of picnicking. So they can picnic anywhere, anytime, even on those like narrow strips of grass patch between road, right? Even at 11 p.m., I still see people picnicking in between the roads. So because even at home, they eat on the floor. So they put a plastic sheet, a picnic style. Here I am again. I was invited to join a family for their meals. And I happened to be in this park during the Persian New Year. The Persian New Year, which is the Nowruz holiday. So what Iranians, they love to do is that they will just go picnicking or just go somewhere far away to camping. That's how they celebrate their Persian New Year, on top of visiting as well. So I see there's so many families there camping. So I also pitched my tent. Okay, so this is my humble little tent. And of course, I have a lot of Iranian neighbors. So this is one of my neighbor. So they were very kind. A lot of times when they were having meals, they will invite me over, and then when they're playing, they'll invite me to play with the kids. Sometimes when I'm inside the tent, and then they want to ask me out for food because they cannot remember my name. They did think that I'm from China. They will just go, China, China, food. Yeah. So that was how I get my food. And at times when I'm sleeping inside the tent, I sleep late. And then when I wake up, I will find food outside my tent as well. So you can see this is their kitchen. So they transformed the back of a pickup truck into a kitchen. So yeah, I think, they fed me so much. I think, yeah, Iran is actually quite dangerous to the waistline. And a lot of times, sometimes I buy food, strangers come and talk to me, like these 2 gentlemen. I was buying corn to eat. And then they end up chatting with me. So with our limited English and Persian and using Google Translate, I try to make conversation with them. And then they end up paying for my food. And yeah, so a lot of times I just get all these random acts of kindness from strangers. And sometimes all these acts of kindness and hospitality goes beyond just a food, a meal. I also get Iranians opening up their homes to me. Just like this gentleman, Muhammad Yaqub, I met him at a grocery shop. I was buying food to prepare for wild camping later on. And he saw me and he heard my plans to go wild camping somewhere. And he said, no, today my house, my guest, you come my house. And when I got to his place, he showed me around his home. And he told me in English, say, my house, your house, same, you, me. It means, treat my house like yours. Okay, don't be shy. Okay, and then also this is another family that I managed to track. They are friends. Eh, they are they hosted my friends many years ago. So I didn't have any telephone number or their address. I just had a GPS location of their old shop, and I managed to track them down and reconnect them with my friends. I think Iranians, they are so friendly. All it takes is an eye contact. Okay, so you're just walking down the street, someone you just look at someone, and then they'll smile back at you, and then a conversation starts. So in this case, I was trying to borrow tools from a car mechanic, and I end up sitting with them having a meals. And those two guys, they brought me out to see a rally race and all. And also, they also managed to help me to connect to some local Iranian bikers who helped me to fix my scooter as it was having some issues. So these are the guys who repaired my scooter. So they did a lot of work. They bought me like exhaust, piston, and lots of spare parts. They spent 2 days working on my scooter. And when I want to pay them back, they told me, oh, pay me back when you come back to Iran, okay, or when you finish your trip. So my gratitude debt in Iran is quite high. So I have to go back there someday to repay this guy. But however, I think also, yes, Iranians, they are very, very kind. They look very kind, they will offer their things to you. But I think also you should not take the kindness in face value too, because there is something called Tarof. Okay, what is Tarof? Okay, Tarof is a ritual politeness. Okay, it's very similar to the Chinese version of limao. So it's the Iranian form of civility and art of etiquette. Okay, like for example, over here I was at one of the cycling around the island. So this gentleman invited me over for lunch, and he was cooking some fishes, and he wanted me to take the last piece of fish. So I say, oh, no, 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 you take it. At that time, I know what is Tarof, so I tell him no. In the end, he say, you don't Tarof with me. So that means that Tarof is like, how to say, when somebody offer you something, you don't just take it at the first instant. Actually, you must reject it. Okay, if you accept it at the first hint, right, it will lead to a very awkward situation, because they are supposed to offer something when people compliment it, or just offer their help, but you have to say no. But of course, you have to say no, like at least insist 3 times. Then you'll know that whether is it a tarof or a genuine offer. So, like for example, this gentleman, he's a tailor, so he helped me fix my bag. Okay, the strap was broken. So so after he repaired, and then while he was repairing my bag, we make some small conversation with my friend translating for me. And then once he was done, then I offered him some money to pay for his service. I asked him how much. So in the end, he replied, he said, oh no, this is just a small work. It's not worthy of your payment. So that is Tarof. Okay? So I have to insist, no, 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 I can't let you do that. You must accept my payment. Then he will say, oh no, 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 it's okay, it's okay. So you must do this back and forth 3 times, okay? And then yes, you pay. So at the third time, okay, it means that if he still resists, it means that he genuinely wants to offer it to you. But usually after the third time, if it's not a tarof, if it's a tarof, they will accept the payment. So one thing, the downside about tarof is that sometimes I get false promises, like people saying yes to me but not meaning it. Encountered it a few times when I had problems. I need to ask somebody to help me get something. I say, yeah, I will pay you and things like that. But then they say yes, yes, yes. But in the end, they went missing in action, and then I couldn't get my items. So that is one downside of Tarof. So for people who are traveling to Iran, yeah, I think this is something to take note. Yeah, people may be very kind to offer you things, but you need to insist on rejecting it for 3 times. Okay, it'd be a very awkward situation. Okay, and then when it comes to language wise, okay, this is my, I think, third day in Iran, and I was staying in this inn with shared toilet. And this is the toilet. I can't differentiate which is the male or the female. Yeah. Anyway, so in Iran, the language is Persian, okay, not Arabic. So Persians, they are very, very proud of it. They don't like to be confused with Arabic. So yeah, just take note, okay, they are Persian, they speak Persian. But the writing is based on the Arabic writings. And of course, I over there I get to learn the language from the locals as well. Uh, I realized that their greetings and day-to-day conversations is really filled with politeness and are very, very poetic. So like there's elements of Tarof in the daily conversation as well. So like for example, when you're entering a shop, okay, so normally people will say "Kasina bashi." It means I hope you're not tired. And then like after a meal, okay, at a person's place or after when you're leaving a restaurant, okay, then they will say "Dasatun da nakone," means may your hands not hurt. And when somebody compliments you, okay, so the other person should reply, "Oh, it's because your eye sees beautifully," as a form of thank you. Okay, and then, okay, this is how Iranians drink tea. So they have this stick with coated with sugar. Can use it to stir the sugar into the tea. Or sometimes you have cubes. So they will offer you sugar cubes and tea, but without any spoon. So you're not supposed to put the sugar into the tea and stir it. You're supposed to put the sugar cube into your mouth and then sip the tea slowly, and then just let the sugar dissolve as you sip it. Okay, so in a lot of countries that I've been to, tea is always offered as a gesture of hospitality. So okay, in Persian, tea is called chai. Okay, in Urdu, in Turkish, it's also called chai. Um, and then okay, maybe you be. I just want to ask. Okay, think about the different language that you know. How do you say tea in that language? Okay, I assume most of you can speak English, right? Okay, so tea is tea. In Malay, it's called teh. In Hokkien, it's called teh. In Mandarin, it's called cha. Uh, so why is it that in the world there's only two different ways of saying tea? It's either something along the line of te tea or cha or chai. Okay, so one interesting revelation as I was traveling around the world and being offered tea everywhere, I realized that actually the word tea came from China, because China is the botanical homeland of tea. So if you look at this graph, so coming into China, okay, if you say it in Mandarin, it's called cha. So if the tea is introduced to a country by the land route, like for example, the Silk Route, okay, it is called cha or chai or che in their language. But if it is introduced to a country by the sea route, as shown in the blue line, okay, so the tea usually are shipped out from Minnan, means the Fujian province. So if you are a Hokkien speaker, you know that tea in Hokkien is teh. So that's why in Malay, in Indonesia, it is called teh. Okay, in English, in Dutch, it's called tea. And all these countries over here where the tea is introduced by land, it's called cha. Okay, and then when it comes to music, okay, this girl, her name is Rahul. She made a documentary film on Ibrahim Mossafi, who is like a Bob Marley of Iran. So her film was screened on a film festival, and the documentary was a lot about music. So there was a very interesting observation she noticed about music in Iran, like especially in the desert, in the oases, where people are forced to live close together. Okay, And if you realize that, you know, it is more conservative and you see women veiling themselves, you know, they will be really shy, it's not so open. So the music there are more solemn and slow. And then in places where it is very open, like in the south, where there is the sea and there is the wave, okay, music over there, they are more, how to say, fast, okay, and the tempo like goes along with the ocean wave as well. Okay, and although there is no nightclubs or pubs in Iran, but there's no short of nightlife. And so I just want to bring you to Isfahan. There's a bridge called the Kaju Bridge. And over here, there's like gentlemen. Okay, so there's a lot of like camaraderie through music in the public spaces. And also this is the Hafiz tomb. So Hafiz is a very influential poet. And the Iranians, I realized they really, really love their poems. So over here, I also can hear people singing poetries, reciting poetries. Yeah, and a lot of household, right, Iranian household, they will definitely have like a book with a Hafiz poem. And also, I would say that yeah, the art forms, right, such as like dance, music, they can be quite heavily censored in Iran. So some of them, they have to go underground. And also there's also music such as contemporary music fused with traditional ones. So sometimes I go to a cafe and just listen to yeah, very interesting blend of music such as this. Okay, so this is just one example. And I would say that yes, a lot of some of these performance, right? They are not how to say, they have to go underground, and sometimes in these underground gigs, sometimes you can hear them singing about taboo subjects. Okay, like sexual repression. I remember there was a guy who was performing a song. He was serenading to a local brand of shampoo, and the audience, they were laughing like crazy. So I leave it to your imagination to draw the link between shampoo and sexual repression. Okay, so and also Iran, yeah, in Iran as a woman, you have to, it's compulsory to wear headscarf. And I would say that wearing of the headscarf is more like due to the law rather than the culture. In fact, a lot of women that I met, they told me they disapprove of the compulsory headscarf. They think that it should not be forced on people because religion is a personal expression of spirituality and it should not be forced down on people. So it's very common to see a lot of women, they try to test the limit of the mandatory headscarf rule by wearing it really, really, really far back, you know, up to their ponytail. So the restriction in the expression of beauty, right, through clothing, yeah, they cannot, you know, wear nice form-fitting clothes and all. So they did it through makeup. In fact, an Iranian friend, he jokingly told me, or maybe he was serious about it. He said that, hey, you come to Iran, you know, instead of buying a souvenir, picking up a souvenir, you should pick up a skill. You should learn from the girls how to wear makeup. Yeah, it's something that they got to do with the eyebrows. So yes, I think, yes, Iranian women, I think they are really, really beautiful. Yeah, they really know how to wear their makeup. But some of them also take to the extreme end, such as to go onto plastic surgery. So when I was in Iran, I saw a lot of women with plasters on their nose. So I was like wondering what happened? Did they get into fight or something and they broke their nose? So my Iranian friend told me, oh, didn't you know? Iran is like is a nose job country. A lot of these ladies, they go for surgery. So they go for that ski slope shape on their nose. So, and then after the surgery, they wear, instead of like resting at home, they have no qualms wearing the plasters out in the public. So the plaster on their nose is like a status symbol of some sort. Okay, and also the public and the private image are very different. So yes, in the media, you see that in the public, the women, they are all veiled. But behind closed door, it's a very different image. Very often when I enter the homes, right, a lot of the ladies or even like guys was like saying, if you want to remove your headscarf, feel free to do so. I'm not the government. I will not force you to wear it in my home. And this lady over here, she's a volleyball coach. So I joined her for one of the volleyball training. So it was behind closed door. So it's only for women. So you see a lot of women, they come in with their headscarf, they all wearing their jackets, everything. And then behind the closed door, they took everything out. Then some of them have really colorful, funky colored hair. Some of them have tattoos. And then they were like wearing shorts, tank tops, and playing volleyball. But of course, I can't take a photo of that because it is not allowed. And the strict laws in Iran has also led to some paradoxical situations. So you see, alcohol is banned, but I found alcohol in the form of Jack Daniel in a supermarket. However, a lot of households, they actually make their own alcohol at home. I think it's human psychology also. The more you forbid something, the more people want it. In fact, I was offered alcohol so many times in Iran. And yeah, unfortunately, it's also is a hidden, alcoholism is also an unspoken issue in Iran as well, because the poor economy and also oppression has also turned people to drinking as a way to cope with frustration. And yes, although there's not no pubs and clubs, there's actually a lot of underground parties. So you can see women coming in, all cover up, and then they go to the room, they get changed, and then they come out like in sexy dresses, miniskirt, and dancing and partying the night away. And so, so now I've talked about some Iran. Of course, yes, Iran seems like really a very friendly country, but when you are there for long enough, you start to see some of the vices and the problems over there as well. So, like in any other countries, there are discriminations. So in Iran, is actually a country that hosts quite a huge number of refugees. There are more than 1 million refugees, mostly from Afghanistan, and they are from this ethnic minority from Afghanistan called the Hazara. So you can see the Hazara people, they have East Asian features. I look like them, and a few times I'm also mistaken as an Afghani refugee. So they are persecuted during the civil war in Afghanistan. So many of them fled to Iran for refuge. However, the discrimination didn't end there as well in Iran. So I remember, so you see when I was wearing the sherwal kameez that I got from Pakistan and with my headscarf, you can see that I really can pass off as a Hazara. Okay, so Iranians are really known to be polite, but my treatment at the Ministry of Alien Affairs was a bit different. I was trying to extend my visa over there, and I was being bounced from one counter to another counter. At one time, I found myself queuing behind this lady. Okay, looked like me, okay, with East Asian feature. And in her hand, she was holding an Afghanistan black passport. So I was queuing behind her. Then when I got to the counter, I showed my red passport, and it was like, oh no, actually you're at that counter. And that was a counter I was previously at, and I got pulled out from there to go to the other counter. So I think the officers thought that I was an Afghani refugee, and that's why they pulled me out from my original queue. And I would say that, yeah, the world can be very, very superficial. You are judged by your appearance and not who you are. Yes, Iranians are friendly, but I realized there's a difference, okay, when I was walking with my European friends. So this is my German and Croatian friend with blue eyes, brown hair. When I was walking with them, a lot of people came out to say, hello, hi, welcome to Iran. And this was the treatment I didn't really get when I was wearing my Shewa kameez walking alone. And yes, this made me realize that, yes, you can go to the same country and then meet the same people, but your experience may be different because your gender, your look, your ethnicity, nationality, age, all this actually do affect your travel experience. So no two travel experience are the same. So for this German friend, we went through Pakistan together, and then I meet him again in Iran over here. So we were exchanging our experience. So I realized that he actually had an easier time in Iran than in Pakistan, whereas I had an easier time in Pakistan than in Iran. Okay, and then also, yes, although yes, I'm covered up, but as a solo female traveler, this is one issue I think it has to be addressed as well. I did get men asking me for sex a few times. Okay, some requests were very, very subtle suggestions. Okay, some were very obvious, like this in the photo. So they helped my stranded scooter when my scooter was like stuck in the sand. Then after that, they came back and they start gesturing for sex. So this was obvious, very, very obvious. So I cannot help but to get an impression that Iran can be a very sexually repressed society as well. So like films, music, videos, and porn, they can be some of the men's only insight into the lives of foreign women. So they have this, probably some of them have this impression that foreign woman is like easy to bait. So what more, a woman that's traveling by herself. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it is all fairy tales and nice. There are issues over there as well. And of course, there are cabins that is designated for women in the metro. So this is not something that is unique, okay, to Iranian society. I think also you also have this women's only cabin in India as well. And another issues that actually kind of maybe upsets me a little was women's rights. Okay, one is, yes, first is mandatory to wear the headscarf. They have no say in how they want to dress. And also women do not have the rights to procure license to ride motorcycle. So they can't ride motorcycle in the public on the street. However, there's this lady, her name is Benas Shafieh. She's a professional motocross racer. So since I can't ride, on the streets, then I say I will take it to the track. So there was a few incidents whereby because my status as a woman, it prevented me from doing certain things. Like I remember Benas was trying to bring me to a motocross track. Then she wanted to show me around. And she was shouting in the phone, angry. I was like, why? What happened? She said, oh, they didn't allow us to enter the track because we are women. And also another time, a group of motorcycle enthusiasts, they were so helpful. They helped me fix my scooter, helped me get the things I need. And then they say, oh, tomorrow there is a race going on at a motorcycle track. But they were very hesitant on bringing me to the track because they were afraid that, because me as a woman, I'm not allowed there. So there may be some issue. Okay, and then next I went on to Turkey. So in Turkey, I spent around 3 months over there. I think in a lot of Muslim countries, right, they treat their guests very, very well. It's part of, their belief. So the word musafir often pop up in our conversation. So this is the first day in Iran. After I left Georgia, and at that time I didn't have a SIM card, so I couldn't contact my friend. So I approached this police officer on the left, asking if I can borrow his phone to call my friend. Then I asked him, hey, where can I get a SIM card, and where can I have my lunch? So he helped me with all this and then brought me to the restaurant. Then he helped me order the food. And when I want to pay for my food, the waiter told me, oh, no, policeman paid for your food. So there's all these random gestures like that. So I didn't even get to thank him for the meal. And also again, in this small town called Araj, it's not really a tourist spot, it's just a stopover for me. I parked into this the pavement in front of the hotel, and he crossed over the road and beckoned me to go to his restaurants to have a meal. So he did this all through gesture. So okay, I just unpacked my stuff. Then I went to his restaurant. So he asked me if I want this. This is pointing things on the menu. I was like, okay. And then when I want to pay for the food, again he pushed my wallet away and he said, Musafir. So again, this acts of kindness just always show up itself. And also this gentleman also allowed me to do the flying fox 1 round for free. And so I was able to connect with the motorcycle clubs in Turkey. So I was handed from one biker club to another biker club in the next town. So all in all, I was very, very well taken care of. So this is one gentleman, he's also a biker. He hosted me for a few days, showed me around. And I got to celebrate my birthday with this host as well. And this is Mehmet Ali. His dream is also to ride around the world. So when he saw my scooter, with all the flags from different countries, and he was like very, very interested in hosting me, and he said, oh, when you come to Antalya, okay, feel free to look up to me. Yeah, and this is also another family who hosted me. Her husband is a biker, and this is also another family of bikers. Okay, and then in Turkey, there's a lot of very interesting sites that maybe you're not sure. There's probably unheard of. Like, for example, this is the house of Mary. It is believed that Mary lived here after the passing of Jesus Christ. So this is a pilgrimage site for Muslims and also Christians in the area. And then there's also Pamukkale. There's this ancient Greco-Roman city of Hierapolis. So behind, on top of this basin, right, there's actually a lot of archaeological site. Like, for example, this very, very well-preserved Roman theater. And then going to the southwest, there's also the Aegean area, the Aegean Sea. And it is a good place to hike. Okay, there's actually a 500 km marked hiking trail called the Lycian Way. So along this way, you can actually pass by a lot of ancient tombs. But unfortunately, I didn't do this hike because I was on a scooter, because the tracks, they are not accessible by roads. So I got to know about all these hikes from other hikers in campsite as well. And this is the famous Cappadocia. So actually, Turkey is quite an established tourist destination. My position as a guest can mean differently in the tourist spot. It's not one of sanctity, but that of like money and profit. So very often I was often teased by people. They just want to chat and talk with you. However, when I was in Cappadocia, I was offered tea by a carpet seller. So after drinking the tea, he was trying very, very hard to sell me carpets, which I can't carry it on my scooter. And one thing I really love about Iran, what really impressed me about Turkey is that how the people actually treat the animals, how animals and humans coexist in the cities. I wouldn't call these animals strays, but I would call them community animals. It's very common to see dogs and cats sitting, next to people's feet in the cafes, and people wouldn't flinch. They just like let them be. I cannot help to notice how well animals are treated and integrated into the community. And sometimes along the street, I see there are food that's left for animals. And also there are low water springs in the park that is built for animals to drink. So my host in Ismail, whenever we had our meals and if there are some leftover, she will pack them away instead of throwing it away. So I asked her like, who are you packing all this food for? Oh, she said that, I bring this to the animals. So she'll bring these animals, I bring this food downstairs, and feed the animals whenever she leaves the house. So like, also on a closer look, some of these animals, they look really well looked after. They like this cat which lost an eye. I think somebody actually brought it to the vet to get some medical care. And outside many shops, I noticed there are bowls of food and water. So this is one thing that left a lasting impression on me for Turkey. So, the greatness of the nation can be judged by the way how people treat the animals, right? This is a quote by Gandhi. Okay, and then so this is me leaving Turkey. Just quick advice. I'm nearing my end of my presentation. So when setting out of a journey, do not seek advice from those who never left home. So if you want to do like a big trip, go on an adventure, I think the best people to ask is from people who did it, not from people who never done it. So people who've never done it, probably they don't do it because they have their fears. But don't let other people impose their fears on you, because you are you. And I just want to share one short video of my 2 years trip. Okay, so I just want to end off by sharing this quote about travel. Why I think travel can actually change the world, because I think travel is fatal to prejudice and bigotry and narrow-mindedness. So if we can actually see people as they are, rather than generalize people, stereotyping them for the sake of simplicity, I think it will help to promote a more tolerant and understanding world. So after this entire 2 years trip, I'm very glad that I got the opportunity to speak at many events. Okay, and I was also invited to Dubai to speak a year ago. So if you ask me what the 2 years has taught me on the road, so getting to meet so many people, so many different people from different countries, it has taught me that we should not let the politics of a nation shape the way we think about the people. And people that we have more in common than we think. But however, media has always been vilifying certain nations. But government do not necessarily represent the people and vice versa. Okay, so I always share my stories, mini stories on the Wandering Wasp. So you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram. Okay, so thank you very much.